on the major events in Afghanistan on Friday, July 18. Welcome. The Taliban's Ministry of Foreign Affairs announced that the feasibility study agreement for the Trans-Afghan Air Corridor was signed between the Taliban's Ministry of Civil Aviation and the Ministry of Transport of Uzbekistan, along with Pakistan's Ministry of Railways and Aviation. This agreement was signed in Kabul in the presence of the foreign ministers of Uzbekistan, Pakistan, and the Taliban. Pay attention to the exclusive report on this topic.
The Taliban government's Ministry of Foreign Affairs has announced that the Pakistani foreign minister, along with that country's Minister of Railways, and the Uzbek foreign minister, accompanied by Uzbekistan's Minister of Transport, traveled to Kabul on Thursday. In the field of regional connectivity, the Trans-Afghan Major Project Feasibility Study is under consideration. According to Hafiz Zia Ahmad Takal, deputy spokesperson of the Taliban government's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the signing of the feasibility study project for the Trans-Afghan Railway among the three parties was an important part of the one-day visit by these senior officials from Afghanistan's two neighboring countries. Pakistan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs also stated in a press release that the goal of this project is to establish a railway line connecting Uzbekistan to Pakistan through Afghanistan, and to facilitate access to Pakistan's seaports for Central Asian countries. The statement added that by facilitating regional trade and transit, this project is expected to promote stability, growth, and regional development. Pakistan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs says that the signing of the feasibility study agreement for this project among the three countries in Kabul will be an important step towards implementing this project. Trans-Afghan is a regional transportation project that connects Central Asia to Pakistan and South Asia through Afghanistan. The Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan does not have expertise. Foreign ministers are sent home, and political advisors are called in for review. At the same time, according to Mr. Takal, holding a trilateral meeting among the foreign ministers of the Taliban government, Pakistan, and Uzbekistan was another part of this program. The meeting was aimed at political understanding and finding fundamental solutions to the challenges among the three parties. Relations between Uzbekistan and the Taliban government have mostly been expanding in the economic and commercial sectors over the past nearly 4 years. However, relations between the Taliban and Pakistan have been marked by ups and downs and tensions.
British media have reported that information about more than 100 Britons, including spies from the country's special forces, is among a large set of data that was mistakenly published. Media outlets, including The Guardian and BBC, have reported that details about British intelligence agents and special forces are among the information that was published. Pay attention to the exclusive report on this topic.
The accidental release of information about thousands of Afghans who have worked with British military forces and were supposed to be relocated to Britain has turned into a major controversy for the British government. Now, British media have reported that information about hundreds of Britons, including spies from the country's special forces, is among this large set of leaked data. This news has been published in British media, quoting sources from the country's defense forces who wish to remain anonymous. Late yesterday, Thursday, a spokesperson for the British Ministry of Defense said in a statement that the government's policy is not to comment on special forces. Media outlets, including The Guardian and the BBC, have reported, citing military sources, that details about British intelligence agents and special forces are among the information that has been released. On Tuesday, the British government confirmed that an official from its Ministry of Defense had accidentally leaked information about around 19,000 Afghans who were seeking relocation to Britain. Almost all of these individuals are said to have worked with British military personnel within the framework of NATO forces. John Healey, the British Defense Secretary, told the country's parliament that this incident occurred in February 2022, 6 months after the Taliban returned to power. The British newspaper The Daily Telegraph has reported that the leaked information has fallen into the hands of the Taliban, and as a result, the lives of these individuals are now at risk. However, the Taliban government said yesterday that none of the Afghans included in the leaked list for transfer to Britain have been arrested or monitored. Hamidullah Fitrat, the deputy spokesperson for the Taliban government, said yesterday, Thursday,
"No one has even seen them, not even the young or the old. No one has been arrested or pursued because of their past. The claims that were made after the lists were published are false. The intelligence has no need to pursue these individuals because they have already been pardoned. All their documents remain in the ministries of Defense and Interior, and we have no need to use the leaked British documents. We use our own official documents.
Meanwhile, human rights organizations, including the United Nations Assistance Mission in Afghanistan, UNAMA, have reported that after returning to power, the Taliban have detained, tortured, and even killed dozens of former military personnel, collaborators with foreign forces, and employees of the previous government.
Experts have warned about the depletion of Kabul's groundwater and have said that Afghanistan's capital could become the first city to completely run out of water. According to this report, water extraction currently exceeds the natural recharge of Kabul's groundwater by 44 million cubic meters annually. Watch our exclusive report on this subject.
Experts say that Kabul could become the first capital city in the world to completely run out of water. The main reasons for this are the rapid increase in population, climate change, and poor water management. The non-governmental organization Mercy Corps has stated that over the past decade, Kabul's groundwater level has dropped by up to 30 meters. Najibullah Sadid, a water management expert currently living in Germany, shares his own observations about the drop in water levels in Kabul.
We had a house in Kabul in an area that, before the house was built, used to be a marsh. There was so much water that it stood 2 meters above the ground. After some years passed, the land there was allowed to be used for building houses. During certain months, the water level would rise above the well. In our yard, water would flow along the ground. Now, speaking about my own family's yard, more than 140 meters of water has dried up. If we think about it, over the past 2 decades, the groundwater level has dropped by about 140 meters, and this is a disaster. Truly,
The demand for groundwater in Kabul city is very high. Kabul residents extract 44 million cubic meters of water from underground sources every year, and this amount is twice as much as the water that can be replenished underground. The population of Kabul, which was about 2 million in the year 2000, has now reached over 6 million people. Najibullah Sadid says that a large portion of Kabul's water is consumed in greenhouses and major beverage production companies.
we have accommodated more than 400 hectares of vegetable greenhouses in Kabul. These need to be relocated. Outside of Kabul, there is no water in Kabul. All of these, the people of Kabul are using Kabul's underground water. There are beverage companies. There are very large excavation basins. There are very large water meters. All of these are cases of mismanagement, and serious action needs to be taken here.
According to Mr. Sadid, just the Alkozai Company, which is the largest producer of non-alcoholic beverages in Kabul, uses about 1 million cubic meters of Kabul's underground water. The United Nations has stated that if urgent action is not taken, Kabul's underground water will be completely depleted by 2030, and this poses a life-threatening risk. It will also cause widespread migration from Kabul. Rahmatullah, a Kabul resident who used to have a well at his home, now has to wait for water tankers and buy water.
Hundreds meters of mud and silt.
We had dug a 40-meter well. It wasn't just us. The neighbors had also dug similar wells. Now the water has dried up and we are facing severe drought. Every day we wait for the tanker to come and bring us enough water so we can solve our problem. We ask the government to find a solution to this problem of ours.
There are also many Kabul residents who cannot afford to buy water. To the extent that, according to one Kabul resident, some even have to choose between food and water. This Kabul resident, who did not want his name mentioned in the report due to security concerns, said that he earns 21,000 Afghanis a month and spends at least 5,000 of it on water. He says that, in addition to supporting a family of 10, paying this much money for water is very difficult for him. Another problem in Afghanistan is the shortage of clean water. According to the United Nations, 80% of Afghans do not have access to clean and drinkable water. Experts say that in many parts of Kabul, underground water has been contaminated by sewage wells and is now toxic. According to the World Bank, before the Taliban regained power in Afghanistan in 2021, the now-defunct Republic government received nearly $4 billion from international donors to invest in the water supply sector. The World Bank says that despite this large expenditure, the water supply system is still very basic and inefficient, not only in Kabul but throughout Afghanistan. However, experts believe that it is still possible to change the situation in Kabul. Najibullah Sadid is one of them.
Well, unfortunately, for many aquifers, the situation will never fully return to what it was before. But we still have a chance with the deep aquifers. The current solution we can implement is to supply water to Kabul from outside the city. And one of the studies that was conducted, JISA, the Japan International Cooperation Agency, carried out a study, showed that the Sia aquifers, which are supplied by three rivers, Shalang, Korband, and Panjshir, could be used to supply water to Kabul. This way, on one hand, we can reduce the pressure on Kabul's aquifers, and on the other hand, give those aquifers a chance to gradually recover and recharge over time.
In April, the Ministry of Energy and Water of the Taliban government said that it was waiting for the approval of the state budget in order to implement the project to transfer water from the Panjshir water basin to Kabul, and at the same time stated that this project would require about $170 million in additional investment. However, in the long term, Mr. Sadid suggests that work on the Shatut Dam, located 30 kilometers southwest of Kabul, should be completed. It is anticipated that once the work on the Shatut Dam is finished, drinking water will be provided for 2 million residents of Kabul.
In the long term, until the Shatut Dam is built, I think there are very limited resources here, especially in the Kabul area, until the Shatut Dam is constructed. We cannot create aquifers or artificial absorption well areas that would allow us to recharge the groundwater.
In recent years, aid organizations, including the International Committee of the Red Cross and UNICEF, have undertaken a number of projects to provide clean drinking water to hundreds of thousands of people. One of these projects was the installation of 1,315 hand water pumps and 1,888 water purification devices, which were implemented in several provinces of Afghanistan. But despite all these efforts, it seems that if urgent action is not taken, Kabul may face a severe humanitarian crisis. This means that 3 million people, nearly half the population of Kabul, will be forced to leave the capital.
Since 2014, July 17th has been celebrated as World Emoji Day around the globe. A day chosen to recognize the remarkable role these small pictorial symbols play in digital culture and online communication. Today, emojis serve as a universal language without borders, conveying emotions and ideas beyond linguistic limitations, making the virtual world more engaging and human. In this special report, we take a look at the background, impact, and the most popular emojis of 2024 and review their importance in today's communication.
These days, emojis not only express emotions, thoughts, and moods, but are also used to make written conversations more engaging, especially through mobile phones and on social networks. But even in emails, including official ones, they are used. But who created this emoji, and how? Nujiba Rahman Iman, an Afghan user, said in an interview,
"In 1999, the people of Japan came up with this innovation. Then, a Japanese scientist named Shigetaka Kurita systematically designed the emojis. Gradually, it developed in the year 2000. They became more colorful, more beautiful, and eventually, iPhone, Windows, and Microsoft added them to all their systems."
According to information from the Wikipedia website, the Japanese scientist Shigetaka Kurita systematically designed 172 emojis in 1999. According to this website, emojis have gone through various stages of growth and development over the past 24 years. Sarah Saeed, a young painter, considers emoji to be a visual language and emphasizes that these symbols can play an important role in expressing emotions. Sarah also adds that emojis are effective in reflecting people's personalities.
When it comes to expressing or showing our personality, it can also have a soul. For example, brands and individuals can use emojis to show their personality and create a stronger or more intimate connection with their audience.
Afghans also widely use emojis in their daily communications and digital activities. However, sometimes these symbols are used incorrectly, which leads to hurt feelings and misunderstandings. Ahmad Shah, a resident of Kabul, shares a story about the misuse of emojis.
"One of our friends had lost his father, and another friend wanted to send him a sad emoji, but instead, he accidentally sent a laughing emoji, which caused a lot of embarrassment for quite some time."
It is worth noting that the tricolor national flag of Afghanistan, which is now banned by the Taliban, is still available among the flag emojis. The calendar emoji displays the date July 17th, which happens to be today. For this reason, today is celebrated as World Emoji Day in many countries around the world. However, this celebration, which has been observed in this way since 2014, does not have an official status.
End of the news.